Hello, friends. Alrighty. Yeah. All right, everybody. Good night, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are. I'm really exciting to be here to talk to you folks about my experience, my understanding, my little story, graph-based machine learning and transformer. Let me tell you a little bit about myself, called Wu. I'm a principal data scientist working for a biotech company in the Bay Area. Until this point, I think I have about roughly like 14 years experience in the field called machine learning, AI, data science. Let me start with a little bit introduction about my, formal training. I graduated from Georgia Tech with my PhD in bioinformatics. The reality is I was doing systems biology research. So the methodology, the tool set, the paper I wrote was all about systems biology. Has tangible relevancy with the bioinformatics, and totally different stuff, right? People say that there's a hairball kind of scenario, more data-driven type of research. The methodology, the physiological understanding is quite different from when I was in Georgia Tech. I would say in Georgia Tech year, a lot of things we do basically is from so-called the first principle, right? We understand the underlying design principle, operation principle, then we use that principle to interpret or to build model for a small biological system. During my 3 years at Yale, kind of from the other opposite. It's kind of like, oh, we have a hairball, right? We have a big data set, and what data set is gene expression, like next generational sequencing, that kind of data, right? We have a relatively small amount of knowledge about the biological system. Like most of the knowledge is about qualitative, not quantitative at all. So, okay, just a data set, figure it out, right? What is underlying operation principle, design principle? All of a sudden, we find out that, oh my goodness, we are thrown into a stormy sea. There are so many things we don't know. So a lot of guesswork. Not saying guesswork is wrong, right? A lot of hypothesis, and hypothesis driven is more data driven, I would say. A lot of data driven things during the 3 years. So I was thrown out of my boat. My skill set I developed during my year in Georgia Tech was becoming tangibly relevant. Right? Yeah. So I basically fumbled through these 3 years, and oh my goodness, like a lot of turmoil, a lot of overcoming experience. This is a good way to talk about, you have a lot of failure, but you don't give up. So that's what I call overcoming experience, a lot of learning experience. So anyway, like 3 years at Yale, dealing with those fuzzy, noisy, dirty data and trying to figure out what is happening, really happening, right? So anyway, after this 3 years, I decided to come to the industrial. A long story short, spending 1 year in a non-profit organization working as a data scientist, helping them to streamline their operation, save money, right? To make more sale, things like that. Right? A totally different system, again, right? From a micron spatial scale, micron to minutes time scale to also the human scale, right? Meter, tens of meter, right? For months, weeks, right? Year of sale, buying stuff, selling stuff, what we shall keep, what should we shall set on sale, what should be put on the upsell, things like that, right? It's totally different time scale, um, different spatial scale. Of course, the objective function is totally different, right? In academia, trying to publish one more paper, apply one more funding, right? Repeat, rinse and repeat. And in industrial, it's all about business impact, right? Whether you can create more sale, more revenue, more profits, better user experience, right? Totally different objective. But guess what? Whether I was in academia or I'm in industrial, something I find out very interesting. Just like when we are waiting for people, I just have a little bit fire check with you guys, like take you as sitting on the side of a fireplace. It's winter time in the North America, right? It's cold outside. So we have some fire check before we log on to this talk about graph machine learning and transformer, that kind of thing. Something very interesting. I would say that a lot of underlying principle, basically they are the same. A lot of thinking pattern, they are the same. Whether you are in academia or in industrial, I would say that when you experience more of this scenario, it looks very different, right? Industrial, simply put, you can put everything with a dollar sign. In academia, everything you put with a paper, right? Basically, you publish a paper, something like that, right? But there are a lot of common principle, common operation, common methodology, I would say. They are kind of the same. I didn't know that when I was standing away from outside the field. I didn't realize that there were so many common things. And it's because of that commonality make me think that, hey, the fun thing I did in academia can be brought to industrial. The same thing, what I do in industrial, the fun thing I did here, I'm doing here, can be transferred back to academia. Wow, all of a sudden, my brain just like spring up and have a, the seemingly unconnecting point in my past experience becoming, snapping together and connecting with one another. And that's the interesting thing. That's what I'm going to talk about today. I look at the difficult, challenging, technical things in AI research, in machine learning research, from that life perspective. That life perspective, not academic research perspective, not making money perspective, is from that first-hand experience, real life perspective. And that's what I'm talking about. I want to make it fun, make it informal. You already live 9 to 5, like Monday through Friday, right? Enough formal. So let's have fun tonight. That's my purpose. As long as we have fun, we don't waste our time. So that's a little bit my background, right? About 12 years, right, in data science, machine learning, AI, 6 years in academic research setting, another 6 years in startup world, in the big enterprise, easily, like those enterprises in their industrial, in their disciplinary, right? Easily like Fortune something, right? Fortune some number, top 50 for top 100, that kind of industrial, right? So today I'm just trying to be pretty informal, pretty raw, pretty unconventional, I would say, unconventional. You see that I'm wearing my my exercise shirt and not a formal shirt. So I try to be just like be myself. A little bit disclaimer, right? I work for different company, graduate from different school, stuff like that, right? But today I'm just representing myself. Paul Wu with a PhD. Very quickly you find out that PhD is not permanent head damage. Does not mean that. Anyone who stay in the academia long enough, they joke about like the PhD you get is permanent head damage, not that kind of PhD. You will find out I have another PhD, more fun, more relevance. You will like it in a few moments. Okay, I just represent myself, not the work, not the company I'm working for, not my formal company, not the education, not the institute. I went to for my grad school, for my PhD postdoc. Right? If there is I'm joking. Like for the people who are from Asia, like Indian, China, Korea, Japan, right? If those people have a grand PhD, they will pursue it. I don't know about you, right? Probably your upbringing is like, oh, there's a grand PhD. After PhD, there's another grand PhD. You will pursue that PhD. I know that you guys are extremely smart, right? I'm not. I'm not that kind of people, you know. So anyway, I just represent myself, my growing pain, a lot of mistake I make during my year in my academic training, during my year in industrial. I will try to be transparent, try to be visible. I talk about some of it during this talk and the talk to come, so that you guys can have at least some entertainment. Second, if you can learn some fast failing forward technique from me, then you can pick it up if you like to. All right, let's start with the PowerPoint. One thing, I changed the YouTube things, to this Google meeting for the sake of you can see the PowerPoint. I'm so naive, I don't know how to share PowerPoint in YouTube. If you know that, let me know. So I don't need to shuffle your guys in this YouTube meeting. I don't know how many people can use the YouTube meeting. So anyway, I share my screen. I will load up my PowerPoint. Where's my PowerPoint? Good question. Let me get my PowerPoint. Where's my PowerPoint? So bear with me a little bit. I think it's here. Yeah, it's here. It's here. Okay, though. Okay, let me talk about. Oops. Let me talk about the purpose of this project. I hope that you can still see me, right? It is. What is your opinion if you cannot see my PowerPoint? Speak aloud. I don't think that I silence it. If you can see it, just sum up. If you cannot see it, yell at me, please. Okay. For this project, I plan to give, if God allow, I plan to give a 12 demo about Love 12x Future. Love make AI simply fun, making all sense of tough technicals as your recreation. All right. And you can check me out. Just Google my name and then it will pop up on LinkedIn or YouTube, right? So anyway, so this is my imagination, my ambition, right? What if the concepts in machine learning, AI, data science, when you look at those concepts, all of a sudden you're looking at Van Gogh's starling light. Wow, fascinating. So much emotion behind that concept. When you look at that, it brings you to another world, right? You look at the sky probably for 1,000 times, but when you look at Van Gogh's painting, you look at it with a new eyes, with a new awe-striking feeling flush through your body. What if the concept in AI, machine learning, data science is exactly how you look at Van Gogh's painting? Some of you may know that, oh, I don't like Van Gogh's painting. I love like Michelangelo, right? Michelangelo has many famous sculpture, like David, right? He has many amazing painting also, right? I don't know the name of that painting, like God's father is touching the son's finger, that kind of painting, right? fascinating. So I think that, wow, if the concept become like that, I would love the abstract concept, right? How about this? Algorithm in graph machine learning become the puzzle that can enjoy by my 7-year-old. Fun, pure fun, right? Puzzle is basically how to go from A to Z, right? Or go from Z back to A. Whatever how you understand it. Algorithm basically like, okay, that's the step, that's the common pattern, that's the common methodology, how you solve a problem, right? Simply like as simple as that. Wow, my 7-year-old, definitely he would not put it down his puzzle. He will enjoy it. He will play it all day long, not feeling tired. Of course, he switches his puzzle all the time, right? But solving problem, coming up with an algorithm would be a puzzle. Amazing. How about this? Whoa, mathematics in quantum generative machine learning become a bedtime story. That's my 3-year-old. Not my son's picture, but you get the point, right? Become a bedtime story. You can lay on your father's lap or your mom's lap and listen to a fascinating bedtime story. You can carry that story even into your dream. Hopefully, that's not nightmare, right? The story you hear from your parents, oh, amazing dream, right? Wow, I would like that. I hope that you have the same feeling toward the mathematics in quantum generative machine learning. We will talk about that next year, not here. How about this? The problem in X prize all of a sudden is like you are eating M&M. Woohoo! Right? Sweet and fun. Bring you so much joy, right? There are so many good memories coming back to you when you eat M&M. Wow, solving X prize can be like that. That would be incredible, right? Oh, Paul should be rewarded by at least three Nobel Prize, right? If you can turn that X prize problem like eating M&M. Just kidding. Okay. But we are facing the cold reality. Technical to most people, including me, like for 90% of my time, my lifetime, it's like technical. My goodness, it's abstracts, right? When you read a paper, it's abstract. The abstract by itself is very abstract, right? Ridiculous. And it is, when you look at the mathematical formula, it's that cold formula, right? It's like somebody laying on the coffin, right? It's that cold. Ooh, get me out of here, right? And when you look at the algorithm, it is very puzzling, right? You are in a maze. You are put in a maze. But the maze is not on the Earth. It's on the planet called Mars. It's eccentric, right? That kind of algorithm. It's very confusing, very puzzling. And if you look at the reasoning, look at those research paper, wow, it is really puzzling. You're not solving a puzzle, but the sentence, the reasoning itself is very puzzling. The task, tough task, right? I just find out a picture from the internet and copied here. It's relatively approachable, right? At least you can stare on the, I don't know, when you look at this picture, at least some of the picture are familiar to you, right? There's like a kind of like representing a mental model of atom, right? The electronic flowing around the atom. Oh, this circle is like target, right? Target circle. And this is like oscillation, some kind of time series, right? Some kind of thing. The other stuff probably belong to this so-called abstract, that eccentric, puzzling, tough, right, category. So if I introduce graph machine learning to you from that perspective, I have my permanent head damage, my PhD, no doubt. Okay, let me give you some example. Right, there are a couple concepts in graph-based machine learning. The first is called the message function. Oh, you look at that. Oh my goodness, a formula. Scary. So many symbols, right? Okay, the right-hand side, let's break it down. The right-hand side. M seems to be the message function, represent the message function. How do you define it? No idea. Okay, HI, XJ, EIJ, right? HI is, if you read the explanation, HI is the hidden, it's called, what do you call that? Hidden vectors. Hidden vectors, what the heck is that, right? Hidden vector, uh, the representation of the receiver, the message receiver in the hidden space or latent space, right? Latent space, that's a formal terminology. Hey, latent space. I represent I, right? Me. And J is the message sender, right? So HJ is the representation of the message sender in the latent space. Ooh, my goodness. I feel cold on my back. I don't know about you. Okay, the EIJ seems to be some kind of like connection between I and J, right? How I and J are connected. And through a very abstract message function, M, capital M, right? And it, just like a blender, mix it up, boom, it produced the MIJ. M is another vector. What does it mean, vector, right? Why is not the EIJ, but become MIJ? No idea. Plus, if you look at the K, right? Oh, why there was some K on the top of those symbol? Totally not making sense, right? The first function you encounter, so-called message function, is already like that, right? Guess what? This is just the first function. Oh, how about the second concept? It's called the aggregation function. Ooh, you're familiar with the MIJ. I assume that you already understand, right? You're already the master. You're already the expert of MIJ. All of a sudden, through a very strange symbol, right? Since it's not plus, but a cross over a window, since somebody is like some churches, old church window, right? A plus, there's a circle over it, and summation over the J. If you read the notation symbol, Nij is I's neighborhood, right? J belong to this neighborhood. Oh my goodness. Through this something like so-called aggregation function, you come up with the MIK. Why is that? No idea. Right? So the torture is continue. Okay, another level of torture. Suppose you're already the expert of MIK, right? It seems to be some kind of vector. All of a sudden, you are live up to another level of torture. Like you know the MIK there, right? On the right-hand side, right? All of a sudden, the H, the hidden, the expression on the latent space appear again, and through a very strange function called psi of phi, right? I don't even know how to read it, although I spent a lot of years in mathematics. And so psi of phi, some kind of strange function, all of a sudden, boom, come back to be some kind of vector in the latent space, to be the object who receive the function. My goodness, God save me from here. Update function, it's called update function, right? The first is already abstract. The second, built on the complication of the first one. And the third one, built on the complication of the second one. I don't know how you continue, right? Probably half of you already quit my presentation. Right? When you read any graph-based machine learning, the first three concepts is like a punch, right, left punch, right punch, a hook, right? Oh my goodness, you already lay on the floor, lay flat. Right? I don't know about you. Probably that's the feeling most people, including me, will have when I look at this concept. So let's come back to this. I like the color. Enough made AI simply fun, making all sense of tough technical. That's your creation. Oh my goodness, I already be put onto the MMA stage. 3 KO, right? I already lay flat. Whoever was my opponent, right? Conor McGregor, I think probably, I don't feel bad about being locked down by him. but it's just three formula. Hey man, it's just three formula. It's just three mathematical expression. I already lay flat on the floor. So how can I do it? Can I really Paul Jialiang Wu with a PhD, permanent head damage, can solve the problem? Not likely. Not likely. To be honest. Hey, there's a hope. When my PhD is no longer permanent head damage, I am just praying and praying. I'm just hopping and hoping. I'm just doodling and dancing with love as a street kid. I have two PhD, right? Praying, hopping, doodling, praying, hoping, and dancing. I have two PhD right now. I'm in a much better place. And guess what? All this happen is with love. With love. What is love? Love is so subjective, right? Love is totally a subjective thing, right? You say that, oh, if somebody give me a cup of hot chocolate in such cold weather, I feel love. Yes, it is kind of mushy and smooth, mushy and cushy kind of feeling, right? Somebody give me a hug, somebody give me a kiss on the face, I feel being loved. If somebody give me $100 million, I feel love. Oh, wow, that's a good feeling, right? Can you all the way do this? No, definitely not, right? Your wife will give you a go wash dishes, or your kid just like, Dad, I need something, give me right away, right? That's the real life. How do you have that kind of mushy, smooshy, good feeling, warm feeling all the time? Hard. But guess what? Today, I'm going to introduce you a new way of looking at the tough technicals, looking at those crazy three formulas with a totally different angle, with a totally different fun and entertaining and relaxed. The mushy, gushy, mushy feeling will come later on. But at this point, let's start with a story. A couple of weeks ago, I have my birthday. Guess what? I have some good friends. Alex, who is sitting here, Bobby, the little guy here, and Kathy, the little girl here. All of them, they are so loving people. They are such a loving people, right? They give me gift. So, what gift I received from Alex? He gave me a check, 100,000 cents, not $100,000 million, right? Just let's say $100, right? He gave me a gift card of $100. Whoa, I received this gift card. Here, right? From Alex. That's me, right? That's me. Me receive gift card from Alex. And the message I received from Alex is not just $100 gift card, although it's big to me, right? Is all of a sudden I feel my heart is warming up. My spirit is rejoicing. Oh, my body feels so relaxed, right? I receive a love message from Alex. I don't receive just a gift card, $100. A love message. This love message is called M1. I'm a data scientist. Of course, I put a number with it, right? M1. Oh, well, how does M1 look like? Because I say that my body and mind, my spirit are feeling love, right? Probably I can use a vector to represent it, right? Say a three-dimensional vector. The first dimension is my body. The second dimension is my mind. The third dimension is my spirit, right? But usually, you cannot read my body, the situation of my body, the situation of my mind directly from a number, right? Or even my spirit is more complicated, right? How do you use a number to label spirit? No, you cannot do that. A more realistic way is use so-called embedding vector to represent my body, my mind, and spirit. Say my body, my mind, and spirit have 12 dimensional, just for the sake of discussion. Like could be 7-dimensional, could be 13-dimensional, could be 26-dimensional, but let me just choose a number. 12 dimensional, right? You see that, okay, yes, it's a 12 dimension to represent your body, your mind, your spirit, right? So is that the first element of that 12 dimensional represent your body? The second one also represent your body. The third element also represent your body. Something like that? No, actually not. For those people who have a little bit experience in deep learning, right? When you have a so-called embedding vector, every element in that vector, say 12-dimensional vector, doesn't mean anything. It's a little bit confusing at the beginning, right? It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that this element represent the weight of your body, the second dimension represent the height of your body, the third dimension represent the body fat percentage of your body, right? You cannot map to that kind of, meaning for each element for this 12-dimensional vector, right? But this vector is meaningful. It represents the state of your body, mind, and spirit. So each element in the embedding vector doesn't mean anything, but the whole things, the whole 12-dimensional vector represent very precisely situation of my body, my mind, and spirit. Say my body is very relaxed and my mind is very active. My spirit is very upward, right? Very, very, in crystal visionary future seeing state, right? So if you compare that vector with the vector of, say, somebody, say, when Einstein discovered the theory of relativity, similar to that state. So if you compare the so-called cosine similarity, right? You find out that two vectors are kind of pointing toward the same direction. Although the magnitude may not be the same, right? Einstein probably the magnitude is 100. My magnitude is just 1, right? But we are pointing toward the same direction. You get it? So the embedding vector, M1 here, each element doesn't mean anything about either your body or mind and spirit, but the whole situation, the whole 12 dimension represent my body, my spirit are pointing toward that direction with that magnitude, right? With that length. So the M, actually, you look at this Mij, right? I represent just me, right? J is Alex in that situation. So when I receive a gift card from Alex, my body, my spirit vector, 12-dimensional vector, right, can be represented by this embedding vector. Makes sense, right? Mij makes sense because the gift card he gave me, which is the Eij. Gift card basically is the connection between Alex and me, right? He tend to use a very nice gift card with $100 check put into it. Then this Eij just basically represent that check, right? You can say, oh, does it represent like what kind of paper it used, what kind of dollar amount it used, what kind of color, the color of the gift card he used. Could be like that, right? You can use Eij to represent that gift card. I don't mind you use that, right? That's a very solid, each element has its own meaning. It could be like that, right? Who oppose you? Only you, right? You can use that. If it fit your purpose, you can use that to represent Eij. Oh, that's very solid. That's very, it makes sense, right? How about H? Oh, right now the difficult thing, right? Me, Hi represent me. How do I represent me in the hidden space? Then J, right? Hj represent Alex, the vector about Alex. How do you represent Alex in the hidden space, right? So this, let me give you just one example. It's actually very simple. Say me, I talk about the message is like 12-dimensional vector, right? This H, the hidden vector in the latent space, I can say that it is the, say, describe, say, it would be something like, say, it represents the situation of my, say, my weight, my height, my my age, my task, something like that. But again, here, because it's in hidden space, it's not necessary. You can understand it as another embedding vector, say 7-dimensional embedding vector, represent all the demographic, physical, psychological, economical situation, the state you are in, right? Just represent you or represent me, right? You can use that 7-dimensional vector to represent my situation in economy, my demographic, my physical situation, my spiritual situation, my whatever, right? Relation, so on, so on and so forth, right? Represent this person. So 7-dimensional. You say that, oh, each person at least has a 20 to 30 attribute, right? Because right here, I'm using embedding vector. It doesn't need to be 30-dimensional. I just use 7-dimensional. It's enough to represent the explicit, right, dimensionality of a human being. You can easily include like 5,000 characteristic about 5,000. So if you need to use 5,000 dimensional vector to represent a person, you are in trouble, right? Your computer is in trouble. You don't have that much space. You probably represent a person in a pretty wasteful way, right? Some people, you say that, okay, some people is brown eyes, some people is black eyes, some people is white eyes, some people is this and that. You can, that's too much feature to deal with. So people usually squeeze the high dimensional vector into a so-called the latent vector space. A very, very low dimensional, like from say 30-dimensional to 7-dimensional. That's good enough to represent a person like me, a person like you, a person like Alex, right? So you say that, you can see that actually the hidden space is a smart design, nothing but a smart design to represent a person, the relevant information about that person in our story. Okay, you say that, okay, whether I should include the eyes color or skin color into that vector. Should I include, if I'm a data scientist, I need to correct data, right? Should I measure that? Should I measure how many white hair, what is the proportion of white hair on your head to put into that vector? Good question. You answer it. Whether it is relevant to the problem you are trying to solve. You ask this question, then you can select or exclude those features outside of your data set. You don't waste your time to count how many white hair, right? What's the proportion of white hair in that person's head to put it into that vector, because it's irrelevant, right? For the love message we are going to talk about, it's irrelevant. So we don't do that kind of stuff. So again, right, it depends on the project, on the purpose, and you design what kind of factors you should include in your measurement, your data measurement. Then you do the embedding, right? Squeeze a high dimensional vector. As I say, every person, you can easily correct 5,000 features about 5,000, right? You are a 5,000 dimensional being, but we don't need that much information about a person, right? We don't. For this purpose, we don't. We just need, say, 30 features is good enough. We include in our measurement. Then we squeeze this 30-dimensional vector into a 7-dimension called the latent space. Again, latent space, every element means nothing, but the whole vector means something. It points to certain direction. It has some magnitude, right? So I think that's good enough, right? So I received a gift card from Alex, and because of the gift card, I have a message I received from Alex. Not directly, it is the gift card itself, but an embedding vector, right? On this side, MIJ. The same thing, I received Bobby from a hub, from this little guy. And this guy, again, his expression told me our interaction is E, I, me, right, from Bobby. J is, this time is Bobby, right? This is his expression. You can see that the hugging is very different from the gift card, right? The gift card, you can talk about, say, the color of this gift card, how many money amount in this card. So in a hub, do you say that, can you say that the color of this hug, the money amount of this hug, doesn't make sense at all, right? Hug is hug. A hug probably how strong he squeezes you, right? Or how mushy he put his face around your face, right? To give you a mushy hug. And so you can see that like totally different, right? But you can create some kind of vector represent that hug, the interaction between me and Bobby, right? So you can use the same dimensional or different dimensional. There are a lot of freedom of doing this, right? Not necessarily say between the interaction of me and Alex, he used the gift card. Say this is a 10 dimensional, right? Say 10 dimensional. So can I use 10 dimensional to represent the hug between, Bobby gave to me? You can. Can you use 12 dimensional? Probably you can, right? No one forbids you. No one forbids you. You can use 12 dimensional. You can use 33 dimensional to represent a hub, right? As long as it fulfills the purpose of your project, you have that freedom. Okay. So I receive a hug from Bobby. Oh, I have another love message, right? I come up with this love message, and from Bobby, because he gave me a hug, I represent that hug as a so-called embedding vector in so-called abstract hidden space. But it means something to me, right? It means something to me. It has another impact on my body, on my mind, on my spirit, on that 12-dimensional space. I use 12 here to represent the M2, right? 12-dimensional vector. Okay, the same thing, like Cassie give me a praise. She is a very generous kid. She just praised me by helping her with her homework, helping her with feeding her dog, just play with her dog, right? She praised me. So you can see that the praise given by Kathy to me is another vector. Can be 12-dimensional, yes, you can. Can be 3-dimensional, can be 9-dimensional, could be 13-dimensional, could be, right? If we fit the purpose. You have the freedom to design it. So the message I received from Cassie also can be converted into a M3, which is a 12-dimensional vector. Hopefully, M1 and M2 12-dimensional, right? So that they can have some kind of comparison, right? To my body, anything. That's the so embedding vector, right? And so that, I have a lot of message, right, from Bobby, from Alex, from Cassie. So I have a bunch of message. So message function make total sense here, isn't it? It makes total sense. It's pretty easy. Okay, the next, before we go to the next slide, let's look at how machine learning researcher design this so-called message function. You have a lot of freedom, right? Right now, you can use the so-called, you can copy, right? Oh, the message just like say here, suppose Alex, right? The message I received from Alex from the gift card, I just copy his hidden state, how Alex was represent, like I use 7-dimensional vector, right? Oh, I just use 7-dimensional vector. So my Mij become a 7-dimensional vector, which represent the situation of Alex, right? Alex, this guy. Or I receive a 7-dimensional vector from Bobby, right? Could be just neighborhood copy, very simple, right? The same for Cassie, right? Could be the copy of Cassie's the representation of Cassie, the situation of Cassie. The message could be just that person, right? Could be as simple as that. And it could be so-called structurally normalized. It means that like there are how many interaction between me and Alex. Say Alex not just giving me one gift card. He gave me a stack of gift card. Each one is $100. A stack probably 100 gift card at that day. So if I want to count Alex's message to me, then I have trouble, right? Each one is $100. Then it add up. The message from Alex is overwhelming to me, right? So I need to basically normalize it, dial it down. Each of those like message, if gift card, say $100, right? and you say he give me 100. So the importance need to normalize by the 100 gift card itself. So to make each gift card, the contribution or the message I receive from each gift card make total sense, right? You have some kind of normalization, right? This Cij basically is a normalized factor to make it each message has its own importance, right? Has its own weight in a sense, right? It could be like that. Guess what? You also have the so-called attention, right? I is me, right? J is Alex. So the attention function is like, oh, how much attention I should put on between Alex and me. Then you multiply it by Alex hidden vector, right? So that the message I receive from Alex, just like how much attention I pay to Alex, this person is himself. So you can design a so-called attention function to design this message I receive from Alex, right? So you see that there are so many freedom. It totally depends on what kind of purpose you want to achieve. And in the first class, in first conversation, I don't want to get into a particular project, but just give you a very intuitive understanding, right? Oh, birthday! Wow, receive so many gifts from other people. A hug, a kiss, a gift card, a dance, a cup of tea, a bottle of beer, right? You receive a lot of message from different people. So can you use graph-based machine learning as a framework to tell your story? We can, right? We can. We are doing it. All right. I guess you have certain familiarity with the message function already, right? So when you have all this message from Alex, from Bobby, from Cassie, how do you, what is the, at the end of the day, what do you receive, right? At the end of the day, I have a total love message from all these people, right? You will say, does it matter at all? You receive the message from Alex first or Cassie first or Bobby first? It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I so enjoy, right? I just sum it up. You can imagine the so-called aggregation function is basically a scale, right? A scale. You put the gift here, you put the gift you receive Alex, the gift you receive, the message you receive Alex, the message you receive Cassie, the message you receive Bobby. You put it all together, a bag, right? Or a scale, right? You just care the total weight of that three message in a sense, right? So the order, how you receive, when you receive this message doesn't matter. So I don't care about that, right? I just care the totality of that. So that's why I call the total love message. Is at the end of the day, I receive from all these people. Because it's from all these people, they sum it up. Oh, who are Alex? Who are Cassie? Who are Bobby? They are my neighbors. They are the nodes I have direct interaction with. You see that? They are the nodes. I'm one of the node. Alex is another node. Bobby is another node. Cassie is another node. The three friends is the nodes I have direct interaction with. I receive message from, right? So when I aggregate them, the order doesn't matter. I don't care the order. I care the total sum. I care the totality, right? So the aggregation function is designed exactly like that. Why they use this strange symbol? Because the plus is like summing up something, right? But they don't have it's different from the the plus side or the summation side, right? In the basic mathematics, so they just create this kind of strange symbol, right, to sum it up, aggregate them together. So what is the example in machine learning? So in the aggregation function, very simple. You just sum it up. It could be just sum it up, right? There are different examples. Sum it up, or you do some normalization, right? You do some normalized by it is normalized by the so-called how many label we have, right? You sum it up and average it. It's very simple. And you can just say that, okay, I just take the maximal, right? Take the maximal of this say 12-dimensional vector. Every every dimension, I take the maximal. I just cherry picking, right? The first dimension, I put the maximal. The second dimension, I put the maximal. I take out the maximal from the 3 people. The third dimensional, no, I pick the strongest message from the 3-dimensional. The 12th dimension, I put the strongest message. I pick up the strongest element from these 3 people, right? Something like that. You can do the math. So you see that that's totally your freedom. That's totally your choice. How you design this aggregation function, right? Totally your choice to fit your purpose of your project, right? So my case, I probably just max or average or sum, doesn't matter. Probably max, right? I choose max. So this is the second picture, aggregation function. It doesn't care the order, it just care the totality, right? Okay, are you comfortable with this concept? I think yes, right? So let's move on to the third one. Hey, the third one, after you have the total love message, and I have my original state, right? The hidden state. Say my original state is that cold state. Then after I receive the total love message and I update myself, then I become red hot state. So this HI with this new time, right? After I receive this total love message, boom, I'm coming from this guy to that guy, right? That cold to red hot. So this is the fun thing about update function. When you receive the total love message, you upgrade, you update yourself. So your hidden state, the representation of you, is no longer that cold, but red hot. So I hope that that gives you a very clear mental image, right? How it work. Just use a story to chain all this concept together. Just get into a little bit more detail about the update function. There are a lot of freedom again, right? It could be so-called a weighted average of those total love message. It could be make it a little bit more complicated. Consider your original state, right? The hidden state, and then the message you receive and plus some bias, right? The first one here is a kind of projection, right? Projection of the so-called message from some dimension into another dimension, right? This is making it a little bit more complicated, and you can even do some crazy thing like concatenate the hidden state and the message, and then you do some weighted sum, right? Huge amount of freedom how you decide the update function. So leave up to you and depend on what kind of purpose you want to achieve on your problem. You design the function. Okay, hold on. One more thing we need to address before we can move on to the next step. What's the K there, right? Why there's a K on the left-hand side and there's a K plus 1 on the right-hand side? What the heck are there, right? It seems that some kind of upgrade are going on, right? The K plus 1 state depend on the K state. What's that? Actually, it's very simple. Think about this, right? I don't just have a gift from these 3 guys on my birthday once a year. I receive gift from these 3 guys or more people, right? Over and over every day, 365 days, every day on my year. Guess what? My state of body, mind, and spirit is going whatever I was. Then next day, an upgrade, right? Because I received that message. And another day, upgrade. Another day, upgrade. Another day, upgrade. Another day, upgrade. You can see that the circle, right? Going from the earth and little by little, circle by circle, you are entering into the heavenly places. Isn't that true, right? If you receive enough message every day, again and again and again and again, like MAU, message function, aggregation, upgrade, again and again, just loop it, right? It means that your current state actually depends on the state you were in yesterday. The state you will be tomorrow will depend on the state you are in today, right? So that's why it is upgrade, right? K plus 1 basically is the rotation for the next time step. K is the previous time step, and K plus 1 is the next time step. As simple as that, right? Nothing more than that. It's very, very straightforward. So you can see that in this presentation, in this fun thing, the technical, all of a sudden, I use a lot of analogy. I use diagrams. I use examples. I use plain story. I use techie abstraction and generalization, right? I still use mathematical formula. No problem. Mathematics. Remember at the beginning? What's mathematics? Right? Nothing more than a story. So I use all this. This so-called adapt paradigm, actually, it was first developed by Richard Feynman, the very famous quantum physicist, right? I think he's a Nobel Prize winner, laureate. It was first developed by him, but later on, there's a guy from Princeton. I don't remember his name what his name. He wrote an article about adapt method of learning mathematics, calculus, in particular calculus. I need to take it out. I just forget his name right here. So he explained how to use adapt method to learn mathematics, especially calculus. So I just borrow it here, right? You can see that I use a lot of story. I can use an analogy. I use diagram. I use example. I use techie abstraction and generalization to do it. I'm a PhD. Praying, hopping, doodling, or praying and hoping. Why I say that love makes such big difference? Very simple. When you look at the concept in machine learning, AI, data science, or any technical stuff, right? You are forming a mental picture. You are looking at Van Gogh's painting with such passion, with such engagement, with such intensity, with such love of life, right? That's love. Nothing more than that, right? That's love. When you look at the algorithm, how to go from A to B to C, right? How to solve a problem. That's the puzzle. My 7-year-old, I enjoy it. Same mentality, out of interest, out of curiosity, out of the safety of being loved by his daddy. Love the meaningful things. He played with that game with his daddy, right? That's love. How about quantum physics? Quantum generated machine learning. Can it be a bedtime story? You don't have any demo here. Next time. Okay. But guess what? Quantum physics. In data science, we have a kind of a very old saying, right? Every model is wrong. Some are useful. I add some time. Every model is wrong. It seems that it's a kind of depreciation of the model we build, right? But no, because the model we build are based on a very teeny tiny time and spatial scale. The data exists there, right? Exists there. We just take a small piece of data and build a model. That model fit that little space pretty well if we build it in a smart way, right? But comparing all the data exists in the universe. The time almost from infinity to infinity, right? The spatial scale from minus 10 to the 12 to the 10 to the 12, that kind of across multiple time scale, across multiple spatial scale, across so many attributes, right? We are actually very, very teeny tiny, very, very teeny tiny. In this universe, the space, the data space, the data we can correct. The data space we can correct is very, very teeny tiny. Concerning, I'm doing like a human dynamic organizational behavior, that kind of machine learning work. Guess what? People has a decades of experience, life story. They have their so-called emotional chain, right? Lasts for decades. They have their reasoning chain lasts for decades. But when we do people analytic in that field, we just take snapshot. here and there, step, right? 10 picture, say, over a 10 year of life journey. So how much space, how much things we capture? You can see that very tiny, right? The same thing for quantum generative machine learning, as advanced as it is. The data they can correct, the methodology they can come up with, every model is long, but only some of them are useful sometime. As a good data scientist, you need to figure out when it is valid, when it doesn't work, why it worked in that situation, why it doesn't work in that situation, right? You need to do some XAI, right? Explainable AI thing to understand it. But as advanced as quantum generative machine learning, it is nothing but a model, right? There's a truth behind that. Let me talk about that truth is God, right? That's God. The truth, the totality of truth is God. The total data space, right? Across multiple time scale, across multiple spatial scale, right? I use minus 10 to the minus 12 to 10 to the 12, just for the sake of discussion. It could be 10 to the minus 120 to the 10 to the 120. You get the point, right? Just for the sake of discussion. Okay. God is the totality of the time scale. God is the totality of the spatial scale. God is the totality of your emotional state. God is the totality of your logical chain, right? For everybody, whoever, for those people are living on this earth, all in history, 100,000 years away, those people living in history, he get all this data. He get all this data. He understand, he know all this data, why this data was generated by this person, by this business, by this IoT device, by this quantum computer, how it, where it's from, why it's here, where it's heading to. He know exactly. That's why I call God, right? So problem in X price can be like eating M&M. Oh, here M&M, what I mean is MMA, fighting, marathon running, and mountaineer. That's my favorite sport. So if you see Paul Wu solve the X price problem, he must doing M and M, right? MMA fighting, marathon running, and mountaineer thing. So M&M means that to me. It doesn't mean that it's a piece of chocolate, right? You can eat. You can solve the X price. But it is doable as long as you keep your training, as long as you are making daily good progress. Probably, who knows, right? You can win the X prize, or I can win the X prize, or we do it together. Who knows, right? So I think the point you probably get, right? As I demo as the very, very beginning of our talk, hey, there's a possibility. If you understand, like God is the totality of all this, and guess what? A little bit personal. You don't have to agree with me again, right? Everything I talk, you should put it into stress test to see whether it's true or not, right? That's why I encourage you. I want you to be an independent thinker. You want to put yourself into that process to experience by yourself. Then you know whether it's true or not. As you see that today, we learn this thing. It's called full body learning, not just by your rationality circling on your head. It's about your emotion. It's about your physical feeling. It's about your kinetic movement, right? Punch, hook, right? That kind of thing. Jumping, hopping, right? Full body learning. Your head is just a small part of it, to be honest. To understand something, you need to put your full body in. You put your full sense in. All sense put into this. All of a sudden, it becomes so fun, right? This is no longer a dream. It is doable. What do you think? At least I think it's doable. I don't know about you. I cannot make decision for you. Only you can answer this question, right? My personal experience, God is love. God doesn't just have love. He is love. God is love. If you merge yourself to the infinite God, right, unlimited by anything, oh wow, you love this concept. You love this algorithm. You love this quantum generative machine learning, the math. You love the problem you're going to solve. Isn't it? God is love. Everything he do out of love. And the optimal purpose is to maximize love. Do you agree? If you have the attitude looking at everything, everybody, including yourself, I know that you are a tough person. Oh, me, I'm talking about me, not talking about you. I'm a tough person, right? Not have pretty high demand on myself. So if I look at myself with the attitude of love, with the ultimate purpose of maximize the love, if I look at my spouse, look at my kids, right, with the purpose of love, I'm not thinking about self anymore. I'm looking at the whole system. I try to maximize the connection between me and my wife. I try to maximize the love flow between me and my kids. I try to maximize the love flow between me and the mathematics I'm reading, the algorithm I'm looking at, or the concept I'm staring at as Van Gogh's painting with love. The communication, the substance between me and the concept and the algorithm, the math, the problem are love. Ooh, what do you think? Do you think that some wisdom? Do you think that God has some wisdom flowing out of that? I cannot answer it for you. But from my personal experience, resounding yes. Yes. Okay. So, what is the history? How come you come up with this unconventional approach to mathematics, computation, theory, right? Well, a little trajectory. I just want to talk about to give you some reference. Right, I started writing on my LinkedIn. I have quite a few blog posts, right? Through a sequence of articles, right? SEER, what is that? Passing tech interview with 95% confidence interval. Oh wow, that's interesting. Right. Another article is like in boredom or in crisis. What if you can hear the advice of your 10x future self? If you are unfortunately the one of the engineer being fired by Twitter, or you are laid off by Facebook, right, or the Meta recently, you got to read it. Probably will give you some inspiration or comfort, right? Go and check it out. My LinkedIn article. There are a bunch of them there. And from September, I started to put out some CD video. How to defeat year-long depression by days. I did it, and you can too. Oh, another love story. It must be, right? And Sea of Love. Simple and easy action enable you to love top people like yourself and your work. So another article. Oh, it's something about love. Making all sense of AI by love. Using Graph ML and Transformer ML as an example. That's what we are doing right now. So check out my YouTube channel. I will put it on the YouTube channel, obviously, right? 12x Future. All right. So what is coming, right? That's from September this year to December this year. I will do this, a sequence of talk around this line of idea, around this line of imagination, around this line of silly, goofy acting, right? Don't be that serious, right? Be a little bit silly, and we have a lot of fun. Okay, in the coming years, I will dig into the quantum generated computing, ML system design, Love X future you. Whoa, what's that? All right. Love 10, 12X future you. I have been doing experiment how to significantly grows human intelligence. That's my purpose. That's my experiments in the last couple of months. I have a lot of failure, obviously, right? But a lot of understanding I gained from that period, together with 6, 7 entrepreneur, some very bold people, I call them future makers and groundbreakers. So in the coming years, I'm continue to do this fun thing, right? Whoever will be interested, and let's talk. I will roll out the detail. Love 12X future you. You means that you, right? You who is listening, who is watching this CD show. Could be your team. It's an organizational behavior things, right? You is could be a university, a new kind of university, a new kind of learning. Or you could be a universe, right? Whoever. I just kind of intentional use just you. You could be you, the individual. You could be your team. You could be a university. You could be universal stuff, something. I intentionally keep it kind of fuzzy, and so that I have some flexibility to put things into it, right? So also then 2023 would be very exciting, would be very, 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 very exciting. I want you to join me with fun and most important, love. So let's connect with one another and communicate. Let's collaborate and co-create. I'm building up this website. This website, if you click on it, probably it doesn't work right now. But in a few days, I will put much more content into this website. love12xfuture.com. Just as a little commercial at the end. But whatever. I don't know whether we achieved the purpose today. Only you can tell me. I cannot tell, right? I don't hear you. But I hope you just send me a text through LinkedIn or send me an email in the introduction part of this YouTube video. So wjlgatech@gmail.com. If you want to send me an email, the better way is to connect with me through LinkedIn. And if you have some interesting technical project, and you say that, okay, let's connect and communicate, collaborate and co-create. Let's do it. Okay. Love you. Hope that you love this material. Hope that you gain a new perspective, a new angle to look at the tough technicals through the eyes of love. God is love. See you next time. Bye-bye.